Long, long ago, in a Siberian village far, far away, there lived a boy, a very special boy, named Grigory Yefimovich Rasputin. Now, why was this boy so special? Well, this little peasant would become one of the most mysterious, famous, and controversial men in history, rising from simple peasant to aristocratic royalty, all in a single Siberian lifetime. He'd party with prostitutes. He'd heal the nobility. He'd even do magic, if the rumors can be believed. And now I will make this bread disappear. Largius Coccius. Dude, that was our entire winter surplus. Now we're f***ed. Ta-da! And this rise is all the more impressive when you consider Rasputin came from here. Siberia, the dumpster of Russia where all the trash is taken. Undesirables, outlaws, political enemies, you name it, they've been exiled. Oh, you stole a horse? Off to Siberia. Planned a revolution? That's a Siberia. Ate too much bread? That's definitely a Siberia. Sir, you're under arrest for withholding valuable resources from the party. Valuable resources? What in Mother Russia's middle name are you talking about? Oh, I don't know. Bread? Look at you! We're all starving out here and you look like a whale and a pig got into the potatoes. Now where is it? And don't make me get the bread-seeking dogs. Do it! I don't care. You want to know why? Because I don't have any bread. Now, little is known of Rasputin's early life, because TikTok didn't yet exist, and the life of poor peasants in rural Russia was less than interesting to scribes, and I can't imagine why. Jesus. Even I want to click off the video. But what we've gathered from reliably unreliable sources is that from a very young age, Rasputin displayed certain oddities and behaviors that awed some and disturbed others. He seemed to know things that no man, let alone boy, could or should. Psst. Old Farmer Maggot is hoarding bread at his house. It's in the walls. And pray, how does a boy like you know that? Thief? Magic? Rasputin quickly evolved from odd child to troublesome teenager. He quickly garnered a reputation for being a rapscallion. A level 1 rapscallion, but a rapscallion nonetheless. His special abilities included drinking, theft, driving while drinking, and his ultimate ability, not bathing. It takes weeks to charge up, but is absolutely devastating. There he is! Get him, boys! But eventually, like all hooligans, he'd settle down, find a nice lady, and have a family. Rasputin would marry one Praskovia Dubrovina, and they'd produce 3 living heirs to the Rasputin fortune. And oh, what a fortune it was. However, Rasputin was restless. He had lots of pent-up power, but no outlet for his abilities, and so he sought out relief, venturing out into the wide world seeking adventure. He ran through the meadows. He played in the trees. He walked on water until one fateful day, he happened upon a stable on the outskirts of his hometown, where he would once again fall back into his debaucherous ways. What are you doing? Stealing, you horse. Yeah! Rasputin allegedly borrowed a horse without consent, but that is a felony, and this put Rasputin between a rock and a hard place. He could take the punishment and be banished back to Siberia, or he could abandon his family and not go back to Siberia. A tough choice, to which Rasputin said, "See ya." And so Rasputin fled his family and went to a distant monastery, avoiding the judgment of the police and incurring the judgment of God. Yet Rasputin was spared by the kindness of the monastery monks, who took him in and treated him as one of their own. They'd teach him to read. They'd teach him to write. They'd even teach him to pray, doubling his intelligence and converting him from peasant class to paladin main. But most importantly, the priests would educate him in the ways of the Christian God. Heal the sick, love the poor, smite the sinners. You know, God stuff.
I can't breathe. I can't swim. I can't swim.
Rasputin would slowly unlearn those old skills for newer, less evil ones. Pray, heal, self-flagellate, and he steadily became more religious, devouring the holy doctrines like he had once devoured wine and pussy, until one fateful day, when one of the monks took his education too far.
Oh! Brother Ilya, what the hell do you think you're doing? Priest stuff.
Rasputin would leave the monastery, citing the monks had made inappropriate moves on his virginity. But dude, that's the first skill a priest learns. What did you expect? And these new skills would be leveraged by Rasputin to fulfill his new purposes, becoming a charismatic cult leader, healer. He began to wander far and wide, traveling from town to town, relying on the generosity of others to survive. Some bread here, an apple there, vodka everywhere, and this allowed him to focus his efforts on honing his occult powers by purging the sin from his body. But how does one properly purge? Pain, and many avenues exist. You can fast, you can kneel, you can even whip. Kinky, but Rasputin was a special lad, and so he decided shackles, whips, and prayers were so 8th century, and so he opted to purify by being putrid. The plan? Wear the same clothes for an entire year. Seems more like a punishment for those around him, but alas, it worked. With enough time and enough sweat, Rasputin was purified, and his power expanded with his stench, and now he was a changed man. People claimed he could gaze into their soul, read their minds, and persuade people to do just about anything. Read this book, steal that horse, don't wash those clothes.
But it smells really bad.
That's the point, and from this point, Rasputin quickly gained a following. Yet with fame came slander, as rumors began to spread amongst the local peasants that Rasputin had become involved with the dark arts. People saw a charismatic young religious man, followed by a retinue of females, and assumed it to be a cult. They whispered of debauchery and spoke of bizarre rituals, choking each other, self-flagellation, and hot orgies, all designed to bring one closer to God. Just take my charity. It was a philosophy known as holy passionlessness, which means finding God through sexual and carnal exhaustion, i.e., party till you can't party no mo.
Where am I, and what happened last night? I am never partying again. You hear me, God?
Prove it, my child.
Prove it? aren't you, like, supposed to forgive my sins no matter what?
No, that's my son. I'm the Old Testament God, and I need proof.
Pinky toe?
Yet exhausting himself with all this debauchery and loss of blood didn't just bring Rasputin closer to God, but also his family, as he would return home to his wife and children a changed man. This was not the same Rasputin that fled all those years ago. Black were his eyes and stained was his shirt, and life in the Rasputin house would never be the same. As his acolytes bore down on the family manor and disturbed this once peaceful peasant town, they'd peer through the windows and disrupt the family, seeking to glimpse a view of his magical powers. But this only enraged Praskovia, who said,
Get out of here! God, can we not have one peaceful dinner the one time you're home? Rasputin, could you please pass me a cup of water? I'm parched from all this tomfoolery.
Baby, I'll do you one better. Check this out. Abracadabra.
What'd you do to it?
I just turned that water into wine.
Oh! Is that blood?
Ta-da! Rasputin's legend would continue to grow. He became known far and wide as a miracle worker and a healer. If you were broken, bruised, or beheaded, Rasputin was your man. Even the aristocrats from fancy faraway places would travel to see him. Bored of their workless lives, the wealthy elite had become enthralled with the occult, the mysterious, and the fantastical. And so Rasputin wasn't just seen as a healer, but a spectacle as well. Eventually, even other holy men began to visit him. Bishops and priests from powerful seats were mesmerized by his charismatic aura and consumed by the void in his eyes. Yet despite all this fanfare, Rasputin would become restless once again, and so he meditated on his next move. Perhaps Greece? Maybe Jerusalem? When suddenly, the visage of Mother Mary came to him and said,
Go at once, my child, to St. Petersburg. Fly swift as the crow and seek out the royal family, for they have great need of your services. Danger approaches. Oh, and God said he's using your pinky as a necklace, whatever that means. Now go!
This is good stuff.
The vision shook Rasputin, yet he knew he must make haste to St. Petersburg. But he had a problem. How could a simple peasant penetrate the social walls of St. Petersburg? Bureaucracy, but of course, for a timely letter of recommendation would be sent to an Archbishop Theophan to set up a meeting between the two. Apparently, Mother Mary had made more than one stop that night.
Hey. Bro! Fucking nerd.
Rasputin would meet three important holy men. One, Archbishop Theophan, the confessor to the royal family. Two, Georgy Hermogens, a self-castrated bishop. And three, Arrow monk Eliador, a priest known for his anti-Semitic rants. Quite a crew, and so Rasputin would meet the men who would decide his fate in St. Petersburg. Would he be a hero, or judged to be a zero? Only time would tell.
So it says here you're a healer, a man of God, and this pinky business is quite impressive. And tell me more about this purging.
Oh, that was nothing. I didn't shower for a whole year and wore the same pair of clothes.
Pretty holy, right? So that's what that is. Pretty holy indeed. Give us 1 second. All right. What do you think? Should we let him in?
He's clearly a man of God. I mean, just smell the man.
Yes, but what does he think about the Jews? Shut up, Iliador. Enough about the Jews. All right, it's settled. Let's do this. All right. We have but one final question for you.
What do you think about the Jews?
No, ignore him. I'd like you to tell me about these orgies. Basically, it was just me and a bunch of women having lots of sex and doing crazy stuff all night long. I mean, pretty simple. All right. You're in.
Rasputin's resume impressed the men, who began immediately connecting him with the elites of St. Petersburg society. But peasants and aristocrats don't speak the same language, so Rasputin communicated through the universal language. Partying. He'd party up the salon. He'd party in the streets. He'd party on your sheets. The aristocrats became entranced by his mysterious ways. He was just so different. His eyes, his smell, his disregard for social hierarchy all impressed the ever self-conscious aristocrats who valued the opinions of others above all else.
Does this make me look fat?
Hands up, scumbag! You're under arrest for eating too much bread.
Eventually, Rasputin partied all the way up to the tippity top of the social ladder. The royal family.
What is that peasant smell?
Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra Fyodorovna. Now, the idea of royalty hanging around a haggard, dirty Siberian peasant may seem unbelievable to you, but the royal family had plenty of prior experience with the abnormal and very much believed in the occult. See, you might just see a dirty, dangerous, deranged man, but to a Russian aristocrat, this dirtiness signified holiness, this derangement meant dignity, and that knife was just part of the magic show, because hanging out with supposedly magical peasants was now cool, and so Rasputin took this opportunity and said,
Is this your card? No. Oh. How about this? No. Wait a minute. You're just a normal peasant. Inside my own house. I knew I smelled something. Get him, boys. Wait. I promise I'm a witch, and I can prove it. Wingardium Leviosa. Now try that water. Or should I say, wine? No freaking way. Oh my God, it's blood. You're amazing!
But the royal family's interest in the fantastical wasn't born strictly of boredom, but rather necessity. See, they had a son, Alexei, who is a hemophiliac, a disease that causes excessive bleeding. And up to this point, modern science had done little to stymie the problem. Literally. And so Alexei's mother desperately searched for an alternative method of healing. Leeching? No good. Band-Aids? It's a no. Just sucking it up, kid? Doesn't work. And so the problem lingered, and the threat of catastrophe loomed large over the family's head. One scratch, one nick, one fall, and disaster would strike. And one disastrous day, Alexei would sustain a scratch. A minor boo-boo for you, but for a hemophiliac, it was deadly. The doctors came and did what they could, meaning pills, more pills, and would you guess it? Even more pills, but it just didn't work. Actually, it just made it worse. Alexei's mother became distraught, and her faith in doctors slowly collapsed. Yet her faith in God remained firm. and so she did what any believer would do. She prayed. Nothing happened. So she prayed harder. Still nothing. Then she prayed super duper hard. Look at those knuckles, and lo, her salvation appeared at the palace gates, to which the guards said,
Halt, peasant! Step no further, for this is royal property. Step aside, for I am no peasant, but a man of God. No, you're definitely a peasant. Now scram, before I get the peasant-seeking dogs. You fool! Dogs are no match for my power. Now watch me disappear. Yeah! Alright, I'll come back later.
Rasputin would visit the boy, and seemingly by doing nothing would fix the problem. It was black magic, they whispered. A miracle, they said. A gift from God, they screeched, as they hoisted Rasputin upon their shoulders. But in reality, Rasputin's do-nothing medical treatment likely prevented doctors from giving the boy aspirin, a blood thinner. But in the doctor's defense, it is 1907, and medicine looks like this. So if you can't physically see the problem, then step aside and let the real healers do their job.
Sectum sempra.
What'd you do to him?
I turned his blood into wine. Problem solved. Hey boy, how do you feel?
Really, really good, Mr. Smelly Wizard. Man.
Well, at least he's throwing up wine instead of blood. Problem solved.
Rasputin's ability to heal Alexei legitimized him in the eyes of the royal family. Tsaress Alexandra adored him, and the Tsar Nicholas revered him, writing in his diary, "Today I met a man of God." Rasputin would be given the royal treatment. He got an apartment near the palace. He received a get-out-of-jail-free card, and he was hired as the palace lamplighter, whatever that means.
Jesus!
Hey. But trouble brewed outside the palace, for Alexei's condition was unknown to the public, meaning the significant amount of time that Rasputin spent at the palace sparked many a rumor. But these weren't the benign rumors created by dull peasants. No, these were the salacious rumors of the sharp and ever-critical aristocrats.
What's this?
Some claimed he was smashing the staff. Others said he was boinking the queen, but perhaps most disturbing were the reports about the children. Yes, the children. It was said that late at night, after all the lamps in the royal palace had been lit, Rasputin would creep through the halls like a shadow abound and enter the children's bedrooms to do the unthinkable. Read them bedtime stories.
And that, my boy, is where babies come from.
Uncle Razzie? Why did God give me hemophilia? Did I do something wrong?
Oh, Alexei, sweet summer child. It's not your fault. It's your parents' fault. They're sinners, and God is punishing them.
That doesn't seem very fair. I mean, why punish me?
Well, life isn't always fair. Just look at my toe here. God took this from me and gave me absolutely nothing in return. The prick.
I think I'd like to go to bed now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
But before we can continue, we must zoom out for a second and look at the greater political landscape in Russia. See, at this time, Russia was embroiled in conflict. Revolution simmered below the surface, and in 1905, after a humiliating defeat to Japan, Tsar Nicholas was forced to yield a substantial amount of power. most notably in two domains, the political and the social. For a legislative branch called the Duma would be formed to check the Tsar's power, while simultaneously freedom of speech became, well, more free. Newspapers could now criticize the royal family without risk of disappearing, and not the magic kind.
Damn it, Ivan! You had one job. I should throw you in that river.
Now, how do these changes relate to Rasputin? Well, it turned him into a pawn of a larger conflict. His antics, not just within the royal family, but around St. Petersburg, became city-wide gossip. He'd be seen with prostitutes, he'd publicly shame himself, and he'd even frequent bathhouses and not take a bath, to which the other patrons said,
Rasputin, either get in or get out. No!
And these shenanigans are big business for big media. All people wanted to read was Rasputin. The more salacious the headline, the better the sales. You know how it works. And so Rasputin quickly rose from an enigma to a superstar. And like many stars, he was very divisive. Some saw him as a prophet, while others viewed him as the devil, a sign of the royal family's waning right to rule. Detractors became more ambitious in their pursuit of his downfall. Police would follow his comings and goings around St. Petersburg, and the reports, as established, were disturbing.
So, you coming in, Rasputin? No. I think I'll watch. You sure? I mean, it's not gonna burn you. It's not like you're the devil. And what's going on under that towel? Magic.
These shenanigans crippled Rasputin's reputation and began to degrade the reputation of those connected with him. In particular, the religious men who brought him in to St. Petersburg society. Specifically, the self-castrated Bishop Hermogens and the anti-Semitic Iliador. Every misdeed of this mad monk was another blot on their reputation, and so they did what any great holy man would do. Prepared for battle. Hermogen grabbed his Bible and chugged his holy water, while Iliador hoisted a great wooden cross upon his shoulders, like Christ himself. And so the two holy men would do a little evil, inviting Rasputin over under the guise of friendship to crucify the devil within.
Bishop? Bishop? Guys, this isn't funny. You know how I feel about churches. Is he dead?
God, I hope so.
Oh, shit. That's not Rasputin.
Bishop Hermogens and Iliador would assault Rasputin, who tumbled like a ton of bricks. He lay there, dazed, and in his crooked mind, Mother Mary appeared once again and said,
"Take a goddamn shower, for Christ's sake."
As Bishop Hermogen broke the vision and the surprise attack landed. But it was ineffective. Rasputin's power had outgrown them. The assault would reach the ears of the royal family, which forced Bishop Hermogens to flee to Finland, while Iliador would retreat to the underground and bide his time, waiting for his revenge. And with his religious and political rivals removed from St. Petersburg, Rasputin's influence rose from here to here. He could say just about anything and be taken seriously.
Cereal is officially a soup. That is all.
Yet this removal was a double-edged sword, for it only further fueled rumors of his control over the royal family. The rich and the poor alike began to dislike Rasputin. The aristocrats hated this upstart peasant influencing politics, and the poor disliked everything about the rich, Rasputin included. And when the rich and the poor are on the same side, you're gonna have a bad time. Newspapers began printing slander again, but this time the Tsar pushed back. Nicholas tried everything to stifle the lies. Burn the papers, bury the papers, buy the papers, but nothing worked. The public's thirst for information was too high, and the press had become far too powerful. It was like the great Hydra, for with every enemy Rasputin cut down, 2 more came in their place. Enemies appeared in the shadows and haunted his steps. You had politicians on the left, you had press on the right, and the mob right behind him. To which Rasputin said,
All right, everybody stay calm. Let's not do anything rash. Just take a deep breath.
"Get him! No! Kill him!
What if we eat him?
Oh, fuck! See? I told you he was the devil. But where did he go?"
I think I saw him go towards that church.
So to cool things down, Rasputin would head home to Siberia, spend some time with the family, bang a few followers, maybe even steal a horse. The good old days. Peaceful were these times, until one day, as Rasputin meandered about the town, a shadow appeared in the alleyway. Who could it be? The press? The police? Iliador? Oh, it's just a poor woman who's clearly fallen on hard times. She's missing a nose and just needs a little bit of magic. Rasputin's heart sunk and his soul filled with sorrow, for her wounds were beyond his powers. But at least he could help with a little bit of change. Some spare change.
Hello, my hideous child. I assume you've sought me out for my healing abilities. However, your unholiness is beyond my healing abilities. But take this as a sign of goodwill. Get that accursed filth away from my face hole. You think I don't know who you are? Demon? Devil? Rasputin? Bless your heart, madame, for I understand your pain, and I have spoken to God, and He has assured me that you have a seat right next to Him in the kingdom of... Die, devil!
Oh! What the fuck? You stabbed me.
I retract everything I said. I hope you never find your nose.
Dude. Not cool.
With a flash of steel and a thrust of hate, Rasputin would be cut down by this mysterious woman. Yet the blade bounced off his iron liver, and Rasputin narrowly survived the blow. He fled, but she pursued. Rasputin screamed to the heavens,
Help! Oh my fucking God, help!
but God was busy, and the chase continued, till finally his call, his salvation was delivered. Poof! A club, to which Rasputin grabbed, turned, and...
Oh, my face! My hideous face! Curse you, Rasputin! Curse you to hell! Honestly, I think I fixed your nose.
Rasputin narrowly survived the attack, but it left him bedridden. Tough were these times, for everyone hated him. He's stuck in Siberia, and he's gravely injured. Man, things couldn't get any worse. Knock, knock. It's World War I, and things just got worse. Millions of Russian troops have been sent west to fight Germany and Austria-Hungary, meaning things are going to go from chaotic to downright revolutionary. For one, the Tsaress Alexandra is from Germany, and so the Russian public see her well as a German, and 2, the ever self-conscious Tsar Nicholas is heading to the front to boost morale, which leaves a giant, gaping hole in the throne to be filled by the Queen, a German spy according to the people. And this is what we call a grade 7 shitstorm. We've got unemployment over here, starvation over there, and propaganda everywhere. And Rasputin is right in the middle of it.
Down with the royal family! Give us the devil, Rasputin!
I'm just here for the free bread.
The war rages on in the west, resulting in thousands of lost Russian lives. And so the already unpopular royal family is no longer seen as just superfluous, but downright destructive. And for now, one man is going to take the blame. Rasputin. The elites call him a disruptor, and the poor call him the devil. And so a plot began to hatch amongst the nobles to make Rasputin disappear. And the leader of this plot is one Felix Yusupov, nephew to the queen. Yusupov hated Rasputin and his magical ways, and would seek the stars of St. Petersburg for this important job.
All right, gentlemen. We all know why we're here.
Yeah, all the goddamn peasants keep starving to death. Who's gonna grow all the bread?
I don't think you know how bread works, and that's not the peasant problem I speak of. Rasputin, what are we gonna do about him?
Yeah, he sent my son to Siberia. Yeah, and he fired me in front of everybody. Yeah, and he banged my wife.
Oh, Ivan, we've all banged your wife. But enough pussyfooting around. Give me some real ideas. We could just shoot him, you know. Keep it simple. Keep it clean. No, that'll never work. He's magical, remember? We need to be discreet. If the queen finds out what we've done, all our asses will be freezing in Siberia by the summer.
Oh, I got it. We party.
Todd, just when I think you can't get any dumber, you go and totally redeem yourself. But you're still going to the gulag.
Yusupov would spend the coming months befriending Rasputin. They'd go to the bathhouse together, have sleepovers, and talk girls. And slowly Felix would gain Rasputin's trust, eventually inviting him over for a nice dinner party. How could Rasputin refuse? Have a little wine? Perhaps a bit of cake? Maybe some sex? An irresistible offer. So Rasputin came, and the dinner party would begin.
Felix, my boy, that dinner was delightful. I am stuffed. Well, I hope you've got room for dessert. Oh, I don't eat dessert. Sugar is from Satan. Everybody knows that. Rasputin, don't disrespect my chef. He worked very hard on these pumpkin pastries. Isn't that right, Daniil?
Yes, sir. Very hard, sir.
See? Now you will eat this cake, and you will like it. Well, aren't you going to try a piece? But of course, I would never disrespect Daniil. But guests first. God, forgive me for what I am about to do. Felix, that is the best goddamn cake I have ever had. Daniil, grab my revolver on the mantelpiece. It's next to the iPad.
Revolver, sir?
Yes, I'm going to kill you.
Yusupov would try multiple times to poison Rasputin. First he tried pastries. It wasn't very effective. Next some tea. No good. Fine. How about some wine? Nothing. And so Yusupov excuses himself from the table to go to the little boy's room. But in reality, he would grab his handy-dandy revolver that he kept on the mantelpiece and return to the basement saying,
Hey Rasputin, what do you think of that cross on the wall behind you? Well, that was surprisingly difficult. I really thought the poisoned pumpkin was gonna get him.
Oh, you said poison pumpkin. I thought you said
Pumpkin. You're the worst.
Rasputin was dead. But instead of disposing of the body, Yusupov and the boys would just take the party upstairs to celebrate a murder well done. Hours passed and debauchery ensued, till finally they decided to dispose of the devil in the basement. But what happened next, not even Yusupov could believe, saying,
I mean, we gave him enough cyanide to kill a horse. Then I shot him in the back of the head. I think he's dead. Well, did you check his pulse? What's a pulse?
uneducated peasant.
Zombie! Rasputin leapt from the dead to attack Yusupov, who shot him multiple times in the body. But it was too late. Rasputin had fled out into the cold courtyard and into the snow. Yet his assassins pursued, and once again Rasputin yelled out,
Oh my fucking God, help!
But this time, God was super duper busy, and sadly, Rasputin would be shot in the head and tossed in the freezing river to die with the fishes. And so, the mysterious life of Grigory Rasputin would come to an end. Russia would soon crumble under the weight of revolution, and the Tsar and his family would be disposed of. Yet Rasputin would live on, for his legend would never die, no matter how hard they tried. And if we can learn one thing from this little Siberian peasant boy, it's that if you set your mind to something, anything and everything is possible. Even magic.
Now watch me closely, children, for I am going to disappear. Yeah!
Yoink!